This World Series preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, this is John Smoltz, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
The Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. How about them Yankees, Sean? We're back. It's been a long time, 15 years.
You got your Yankee shirt on.
I'm as Italian as it gets, short of like a gold chain. I got my Dago Dime shirt on.
Oh yeah,
supporting a great Italian American, supporting a great Italian American team. Shout out Joe DiMaggio. Anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah, no, we're here talking some baseball, right?
Baseball. Ryan has been in hibernation longer than baseball. Sean.
How many Yankees players can you name off the top of your head?
Well, I mean, obviously, I know who Aaron Judge is.
Okay, all rise.
Is Aaron Boone still the manager? Paul O'Neill.
Paul O'Neill, yeah, he's
Mariano Rivera,
first base. Mariano Rivera closing things out.
I did see that Judge just passed Paul O'Neill in career playoff RBI.
Oh, okay,
like that, yeah.
Well, certainly having a bunch more games in the playoffs makes that.
Juan Soto, I've heard of that guy.
Okay,
Yep.
The astronaut Ryan checking in the chat saying on a ladder at work and almost fell off when I saw a baseball episode was on deck. Yes, Kramer and I are not baseball experts by any means, but thankfully we are joined by some who are. You know him from the MLB Gambling Podcast, Mr. Scott Reichel. What's happening, Scott?
They're doing pretty well. Feels like I just saw you guys yesterday for a different sport.
Yes.
How's it going?
Yeah, we just had Scott on last night talking NBA season preview. Again, check out the NBA Gambling Podcast. But we're here talking about America's pastime, Major League Baseball, and also possibly England's new pastime, as we're joined by our buddy across the pond, host on the MLB Gambling Podcast, Mr. Malcolm Bamford. What's happening, Malcolm?
Boys, how we doing? What is more American than listening to an Englishman talk about 9 men from the Dominican Republic have a game of baseball? I mean, it could not be more American. I'm very well, thank you. Lovely to be here.
I said to Ryan, it does always kind of crack me up when they have the Dominican players often are colder, and then they're wearing like the full head suit and like the scuba suit, basically what you would see.
Tom Brady without pads.
Yeah, Tom Brady. I think did that. Mac Jones, I remember from like a crazy January game, but it's a crisp October, and obviously these games will be in November, so maybe a little chilly. Their blood's thin. First off, Malcolm, hair's looking incredible.
Yeah, that's about all I've got left. From there down, I'm like a dropped lasagna. From there up, I'm in great condition. My eyes and my hair, beautiful. The rest of me, knackered, absolutely knackered. So thanks for noticing, Sean. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, you know, as a guy who doesn't have any hair, I appreciate a nice head of hair. What's your?
You've never complimented my hair.
Well, you're right. You have
Jesus Christ.
You have a full head of hair, and you go buzz cut because you don't. Well, I don't know. You're scared of getting a haircut, or what the deal is?
I organize my laziness, and what the area I'm most lazy is that the beard and the head all go at once.
Yes,
I mean it's ridiculous, but I got my during freshman year when I joined a rugby team, they fucked during the shut up rookie, drink all this alcohol. They fuck up your head. They gave me some horrible haircut. Got it shaved, and that was the last time I had hair. So yeah.
So now you just look like you're permanently ready for any type of military draft. Anytime.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Stay
ready.
Ryan, the astronaut wants to know, what is the back of the name on your jersey?
Let's take some guesses.
If it's an authentic Yankees jersey, there is no name on the back.
Oh,
well, that's fair. That's fair. But I mean, we can guess the number.
Okay, I got to figure out which row of the closet you pulled this out of.
So
it could be a
I would say this:
throwback
I
or a new
own
one.
it. I have not. I would have not purchased a jersey in the last probably 15 to 20 years. And it's a Yankee great who played during my lifetime.
Okay, well Jeter's a safe guess, but I feel like you'd be a bit different there. I'm gonna go Tino Martinez.
Oh, so close. If you Malcolm, you care to guess?
Absolutely not. 15 years ago was before my.
If it's Paul O'Neill, I would be annoyed because I mentioned him before. So.
If I'm not mistaken, you got it right, just backwards order.
Okay, so you got the Mariano.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, for my money, as much as you can hop on a bandwagon and be a Jeter guy, because he ultimate winner, clutch.
I know that's
gene,
not your style, though. That's not your style. You wouldn't be the kind of guy to get a Jeter.
Mariano Rivera. In fact, if you Sean would know this because our old studio was in my garage. But when you walk from my garage into the house, you see a picture of Mariano Rivera walking out from the bullpen to the mound. Greatest, for my money, the greatest Yankee that I ever watched.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, he's the greatest at a position.
Yeah,
and
he was the first ever unanimous Hall of Fame inductees, so he's got.
He literally was the last guy to wear 42. And like when you watch games today, it's like, man, imagine how good. I mean, the Dodgers, just the 6-out save was a regular thing for him.
Yeah, and, no, he was. It was pretty awesome watching him in his
and that
prime.
bitch ass Diamondbacks team, bro. Luis Gonzalez breaks his bat. I mean, come on. Ridiculous. Broken bat winner on the World Series. Congratulations. It's like coming limp with your wife. Does that even count?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Scott.
Apologies
Malcolm.
If you're watching with your children.
No. This is it's a show for
Listen,
adults.
you had a kid with your wife. Okay, yes. The kid knows that by now.
They know how it works. Scott, what are your big picture thoughts? Yankees, Dodgers coming into this series. Poor choice of words there, but obviously Yankees didn't have to play super intense competition. I guess would be the critique of the Yankees, but Dodgers took care of the Mets. What are your thoughts starting things off here?
Yeah, my thoughts are I'm happy to be here. You're looking at the Yankees who have been owned by the Astros for about, a decade at this point, and they didn't have to face them because the Tigers took care of that. Then Cleveland came back, and the Yankees were able to beat the Royals and the Guardians. The one thing I will point out with the Yankees, though, which I've been very impressed by, is how they haven't really crumbled in these crunch time games, which was an issue in the back half of the season, especially the bullpen. They had the one flare up there with the home run in Game 3 with Noel, who had that ball that didn't land yet, and then Holmes gave up the walk-off two-run homer. They responded, though. They were down in that game against Clase, had back-to-back homers from Judge and Stanton. They came back. They were leading, blew the game, and you figure, momentum's going to turn. Not so much. Yankees blew another lead at the next game, and then ended up winning anyway. And then they ended up winning with the Soto home run in extras in the series clincher. So the one area I was impressed by was mostly the mental toughness of the Yankees. Yes, the bullpen did blow a couple games here or there, but they were able to deal with the potential momentum swing. They got back on track and they got the job done. So I was impressed by the Yankees from that perspective. That was an issue the Yankees have dealt with for a couple years at this point, where it seemed like when things unraveled, they totally unraveled, and there was no way of getting back on track. I thought the mental toughness was impressive with this team, and they're going to need it going into this next series. Now, the Dodgers, on the other hand, are kind of the opposite, because yes, they were down facing elimination 2 games in a row against San Diego, but all of their wins recently have been by blowout margin. You're looking at every game against the Mets. They won all those games by about 3-4 plus runs. The games against the Padres, the Padres didn't score for the last 24 innings of the entire series. So if you want to talk about who should be better prepped for close games that come down to the wire, in theory, it's the Yankees because they've been there before in the postseason. The Dodgers really haven't. A lot of their games have been in blowout fashion.
Great point, Scott, because the Mets do suck. And I hear this chowderhead, Bill Simmons, talking about how easy the path of the Yankees is. You played the Mets and a Padres team that couldn't score. They danced all their runs out in the first game, whatever game that was.
See, was Simmons mentioning that from a Dodgers perspective because he's in LA or because he's a Red Sox fan? I think he was more of a Red Sox.
He's trolling.
Yeah, he was just a hater Red Sox fan trying to get Yankees Nation fired up, trying to chip away at any potential glory here. Malcolm,
It's cute coming from a Celtics fan.
you know, you have an international perspective on this matchup. Dodgers, Yankees. What I mean, I guess the TV executives have to be super excited that these two massive markets are playing each other. We get Shohei, we get Aaron Judge. Do you have any futures riding? What did you like? If I told you when the season started, it'd be Yankees Dodgers in the World Series. I guess as a fan, as a handicapper, are you pumped for this?
I was going to mention the international angle, because obviously you've got the Japanese angle with Shohei, Yamamoto, etc. But for this country, the two biggest teams, it's the two biggest markets where you are, but it's also the two biggest markets globally. You've said it's the two MVPs or the two likely MVPs.
They're
it's the two
MVPs. You can just say
yeah. For all intents and purposes, it's the two MVPs. It's the two home run leaders from each league, which happened 6 times maybe in the entire history. So there's loads of stuff going on. I mean, the BBC here is showing some of the games, which just wouldn't ever happen because it's the Dodgers Yankees. So it's nice occasionally baseball throws up an underdog. You had the Diamondbacks last year, but also you can't argue with getting an absolute blockbuster and 6, 7, 8 of the best hitters in the sport lining up against each other. All my futures died kind of in the championship series. I had the Padres at a nice price. I had the Mets at 33-1. So I was hanging on to that. There was a couple of long running plays we had all season. My 80-1 strikeout leader prop fell 4 short at the end of the season, which was
Reagan's tried really hard though. Reagan's tried his hardest out there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've backed worse 80-1 shots in the last 2 hours than I've done there. So yeah, you can't knock it. It's something to absolutely look forward to. I don't know if it swings you in any way, Ryan, for a new Yankee, but Kirk Cousins' cousin is in the Yankees bullpen. Obviously, we know Kirk Cousins, so you like that, Ryan? He's in there. You like that?
Well, he's great. He's been great in prime time lately.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So hopefully the night. No, that didn't play any into my handicap. I will say though, too, full disclosure, the Dodgers are my adopted team. I've lived in Los Angeles for 20 years now. And
you get adopted teams now? I didn't know that.
Well, I think I need to have. I'm considering getting one of those half and half jerseys with the Dodgers and the Yankees because I want to maybe root for both teams. No, of course not. But yeah, will Kirk Cousins be anywhere near the? He's not going to come talk to the team or something. Give them some words before game 1.
Yeah, guy with one career playoff win. Let's get your take on how to bring home a championship.
1 or 0?
Cousins? Yeah, he has 1. Remember, he beat the Saints in New Orleans.
That's right.
All right, we'll talk game 1. We'll talk series. Maybe some underdog plays here on Underdog Fantasy, obviously. All right, Friday night, New York Yankees at the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yankees plus 112 right now over on BetUS. Dodgers minus 123. Total sitting at 8.5. I'm seeing in the chat, Malcolm, it seems like a lot of people are fired up to take some overs. What's your take on game 1 here?
Yeah, generally speaking, I had 2 angles in terms of game by game, and the first one had to be overs because everything hit in the last round, particularly if you want to follow those trends. Almost universally, those games were set at 7.5, and we're immediately seeing an 8.5 this time, just because I think of the names you're seeing in the 2 lineups. But the game totals in that Dodgers Mets series were 15, 8, 12, 8, 10, and 9. Like I said, they're all 7.5, so 6-0 to the overs. The Yankees was a little bit tighter, but Cleveland are a light hitting team. They finished 7, 14, 12, 9, and 7, so 3-2. So we've got 9 and 2 total to the overs there. But the angle I did like was the run line angle. In terms, if you want to take a team on the money line, I don't know why you just wouldn't bet them on the run line. Every game was a blowout. The way the pitching, the starting pitching is either not going very deep. The pitchers getting pulled out of necessity, or teams are going with a bullpen day. It's getting away pretty quick, and Scott's already mentioned these teams the games are turning into blowouts. The winning margins in that Dodgers Mets series 9-4-8, 8-6-5, and in the Yankees Cleveland series 3-3, 2-2-3, 11-0. 11-0. There wasn't a 1-run game in there.
Yeah.
If you want to take a team Yeah, if you want to take a team on the money line, bet them on the run line. So you're looking at what plus 165 for the Dodgers, and then obviously taking an alt run line on the Yankees. So they're my two angles in. Just if you're going on a game by game basis.
This is the opposite of the spread is dead.
Yeah, no,
The spread is alive.
No, well, it is dead because you don't. To your point, yeah, you're the other way around.
Well, the run line's more juiced. It's like typical. Yeah.
No,
just translating for football brains.
I'm just laughing looking at Ryan with his unbuttoned.
Well, I was realizing how amazing
Yankees
this shirt
jersey,
is.
and he was like sitting back, and his like gut was. You almost look like you need to be sitting on a stoop, Ryan, somewhere in.
I wish I had a gold chain somewhere. I mean,
I have a gold chain, but you can't use it. It's a Jalen Hurts chain that's really important. No, I mean, yeah, if you like the Dodgers at -123, why are you not playing -1.5 plus 164 for that first game? Scott, what's your handle here on game one?
Yeah, so it's a bit tricky not knowing who's going to pitch for the Dodgers. We know that Cole's going to pitch game one for the Yankees. He's been shaky so far in the postseason. He had one great outing, but two kind of average to below average ones in between. So he was very bad in his first start against Kansas City, good in the second one, and then he was pretty shaky in the start against Cleveland, but he did enough, I guess. But the point is, I'm not sure who's going to pitch for the Dodgers, either going to be Yamamoto or Flaherty. Flaherty's kind of in the same boat as Cole because he was really bad his first outing, great his second outing, and got shelled in the third outing. So I don't know what they're going to do for an actual starter for this game. I'm assuming Flaherty, but who knows? I do find the total interesting because it is at 8.5. We have seen a lot of high-scoring games. I am concerned by the layoff because they don't play till Friday, and these teams played about a week ago. So now suddenly you play every day, every other day. Now you're off for a week. Do the bats get cold for a bit? Maybe. I think it's possible. So it's intimidating to go for the under with these, I'd say, amounts of just quality bats in the lineup. I kind of like a contrarian under in this game. I feel like a lot of people are going to be on the over, and I feel like the under might have some value. You're off for about a week straight. That's not great for two really hot lineups right now. So you're kind of hitting the reset button. You'll see what happens, and I think that might result in a lower scoring game. Bit contrarian, but I don't mind the under at 8.5.
Yeah, I could see a 5-2 Dodgers win game one.
It seems really obvious because, like Malcolm mentioned, the over keeps flying in. Not according to VSiN's betting splits, 90% of the handle and 80% of the bets is coming in on the over.
That's my point, though. A lot of people love the over. That's a long time off.
Oh, I love that. I mean, just in general, it does seem like layoffs typically affect bats more than pitching because they'll do their simulated starts or whatever.
Those boys as well. They come in due to this bullpen familiarity thing. Where you're seeing by the time you're seeing them for the third or fourth time, they're onto them. And a lot of the teams who've fallen by the wayside in the playoffs, I think that bullpen thing, the familiarity has cost them. Like Cleveland, the good teams, Cleveland absolutely relied on their bullpen, and eventually they couldn't keep relying on it because the Yankees sussed it out. Cleveland went that way. Houston went that way. If you think Detroit got to Josh Hadrian, people, Milwaukee went that way as well. So if you're going to take an under, I think game one's a great time to do it when you've got a fresh bullpen and they're not quite as in tune. The hitters aren't as ready for them as they will be by game four when they'll be ready just to hit them out. So if there's a time to do it, I agree with Scott. It might just be on Friday.
Yeah,
all right.
It does
put
seem
my first baseball bet in a while in.
It does seem like if it started off slow scoring early. Game one, maybe even game two, and then the bats come to life. To Malcolm's point, as they've seen the bullpen a couple times and know how to hit them.
Do we go first 5 under as well?
First World Series for a lot of guys there.
Yeah,
some nerves can play a factor.
Oh yeah, 100%. And yeah,
I'm playing both.
The long layoff has me looking towards the under more than anything, at least for this first game. I do probably like the Dodgers here at -123, but to Malcolm's point, why not just take the Dodgers laying the 1.5? Yeah, Dodgers 5-2 game one sounds about right for me. Hey, you know what else sounds great? Signing up over on BetUS, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Get in over there. Use our promo code SGPN. If you want a deposit bonus, that's pretty awesome. They got one for you, 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. They got a bunch of options, markets, props here for the World Series. We just did our NBA preview. Got a ton of win totals there. We're gonna talk MVP. Obviously, you can bet NBA division. You can bet it all over on BetUS Casino Racebook. They got everything and a bunch of live betting options. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Also brought to you by Rhythm. Oh man, NBA just launched their NBA products, so make sure you check that out. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Build you some sweet models, good for picks and props. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM to claim your 7-day free trial.
Quick fun fact about our coworker Michael Vick.
Yes,
he was in fact drafted in the Major League Baseball draft in the 30th round, 887th overall by the Colorado Rockies in the year 2000. Michael Vick did not play baseball in high school.
that's pretty insane that you could get drafted without ever playing.
They saw that arm. They're like, we'll figure the rest out.
Yeah, this guy can. Michael Vick looks like a guy who could figure out how to hit a curveball. All right, so Malcolm, let's talk a little. Let's talk a little props. Do you have any thoughts as far as MVP? I know there's always, hey, if you like the Dodgers to win the series, why not just take Ohtani MVP? Ohtani, I think last I saw was plus 220 to win the MVP. Any interesting markets for MVP that you're looking at?
Yeah, so I've got the Yankees to win the series. I've got the Yankees to win the series in 6 games, which was round about 5-1. MVP wise, then, if you're taking the Yankees, you have to find a Yankee. It's going to be a home run hitter. It can't be a pitcher. It's unlikely to be a pitcher. I think to Scott's mind, you mentioned Freddie. I was reading about Yamamoto earlier on, and one of my favorite things I read about him was they like to keep him on Japanese rest, right? And all I liked about that was I'm going to start using that on a daily basis. It's something I could Japanese. The next time the missus asks me to mow the lawn, I'm just going to, sorry, Japanese rest. It's a great name for a horse. It's a great name for a band. But yes. Yeah, so I'm on Japanese rest. Once this is finished, meet till midnight, I'm on Japanese rest down there. It's going to be a home run hitter. So it narrows it down. Oh, and obviously Judge stands out. I was looking for some value. We always look for a little bit of value here. So Juan Soto at 6-1 is a working man's price. And I did make a pick here mildly to antagonize Scott. We talked about it in our little private chat earlier on, which was Jazz Chisholm at 50-1. Because he can hit the odd home run. Scott's really not a big fan, but he's quite a streaky player. He can be quite a flashy player. He can also, on occasions, be not a very good player. 50-1's huge. And what he has got is opportunity. And we saw Jeremy Pena do it for the Astros out of nowhere a couple of years ago. Shortstops have actually won 3 of the last 4 MVPs. But Jazz Chisholm at 50-1 will have the opportunity and, like I say, can hit the ball out. This is going to a home run hitter, and it has to be a Yankee. So if I put a line through Judge, that leaves me with Soto or Jazz Chisholm.
Just ask, by the way, which country does Jazz represent?
Sorry, to give him his full name, Team GB's Jazz Chisholm.
Yeah, so there's no bias at all. You're just backing the guy representing Great Britain. Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Right. Save the king, etc.
God save the king.
Important.
Scott, what is your take? Do you got any plays here for World Series MVP?
So I feel like no matter what, Ohtani was going to be my main choice. I can't take that. I mean, 220 is too cheap. I can't bother. So I do agree about Soto. I think Soto's, in my opinion, one of the obvious choices for the Yankees perspective. It's either him or Stan. Stan did get the ALCS MVP. Soto just gets on base so often that I feel like Stan just had a couple of monster clutch home runs. Soto did 2. Of course, he had the home run in the 10th inning to actually get them to the World Series. But his on base percentage is crazy all the time. And if Stan, I'd say, hits a few fewer home runs, maybe they pitch around him a bit, then you might be looking at, once again, a bit of a decent series for Stan. not as great as the ALCS was. But Soto can be so impactful in so many different ways, just based on how often he gets on base. He's a great situational hitter, can hit home runs as well. He's also been in the World Series before, so I do like the experience angle for him. Now, many Yankee guys have been there before. Judge hasn't, Stan hasn't. You're going down the line. Soto, we saw look great in the World Series before. Had a couple big home runs against the Astros. Didn't win World Series MVP. They gave it to Strasburg at the time. I think Soto makes a lot of sense. If you wanted to go for a Dodger, I'm not going to go with the chalk with Ohtani or Betts. I do agree about home run angles, though, especially in today's baseball. I'm going Max Muncy at 16-1.
Nice.
I think Muncy makes a lot of sense. Now, the problem is the Yankees do have some lefty starters, so that might result in some inconsistency with the actual lineup. But I do think with Freeman's injury, Muncy can play a couple positions. He might have to play against lefties anyway. He was good in that Mets series. He had a pretty long on-base streak, which kind of ended mid-series. But if we're talking about home runs, a guy that could a clutch bomb or two, maybe a go-ahead shot to win a game that kind of swings the series, I think it's a good price for a home run hitter. I don't mind Muncy, especially with the short porch in right field for Yankee Stadium. A lefty does check out pretty well there. I'll go with Muncy at 16-1.
And I like the Muncy angle. But is Teoscar Hernandez getting too cute? I'm seeing his MVP price 27-1. He does have a couple of homers already cute in the playoffs, 8 RBIs. Malcolm, is Teoscar Hernandez too long of a long shot, or you think that has a shot?
No, Teoscar Hernandez is here on my shortlist with Max Muncy.
Okay.
Like I said, I made the case for the two Yankees. The two Dodgers I would make the case for were Muncy at 9-1 and Teoscar at 10-1. And Will Smith at 22-1 was the other one. Players who can hit them out. There is another a Dodger prop that I like here, and it's for the most series hits. It's Freddie Freeman. Now, if we're putting these batters in tiers, Freddie Freeman's 12-1 for the most series hits. And maybe a little bit of an afterthought because he's been injured. I believe he's going to be fine for Friday. I think he's going to start on Friday. Like I say, if you were arranging these bats in tiers, Freddie Freeman's in the top tier. There's no question he's in there with Shohei and Judge and Soto. And he's 12-1. He had a 282 batting average on the season. He's so reliable. He's got, what's the word I'm using? He's got a few different ways he can go about things and all. He plays like a cricket shot. He's got a straight elbow and he can just punch it sort of through the covers. And he can get on base. He can do different things. He's not just swinging for the fences the whole time. Most hits, Freddie Freeman at 12-1 looks like a nice bet.
Ooh, that's a fun market.
Yeah. Apologies to the audience. English is not Malcolm's first language.
I couldn't tell if you were trying to go for like Swiss Army knife or what term you were going for.
Yeah, we need to run a trade.
You say things, I'll shout it out loud when I think of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the Stanton angle seems. I know that the Soto angle also seems good. Maybe I'll split my unit on those two guys. But Stanton is basically the chalk behind Judge to lead the series in home runs. So yeah, if he stays hot, if he doesn't cool off, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's. I think
I'll just put all the money on the Yankees.
Scott, do you have any interesting or any plays in the series leader market? That's always a fun angle to take. Looking, and I saw BetUS has a bunch. Obviously, home run leader, Judge and Ohtani.
Shop these around because for example, FanDuel has Stanton plus 165 home run leader.
Wow,
plus 950 MVP. But you hop over to DK, Stanton's plus 320 on the home run leader and only 8-1 on the MVP.
Yeah, BetUS is Stanton plus 320 home run leader. So yeah, do some shopping here.
Yeah,
if you're gonna get on especially like the derivative market, the hits, the runs, the award market. Any thoughts on some of these series leader plays, Scott?
Yeah, I was actually considering the stolen base market because Ohtani's the favorite at plus 165. Makes sense, of course, but he's actually had 0 steals in the playoffs, which I find kind of fascinating. So
that is crazy.
If you want to go for the guy that's actually led the Dodgers, it is actually Tommy Edman, who's around 4-1. He has 3 so far in the postseason. He was the NLCS MVP because he kept getting on base. He's also a singles hitter, which helps because you can once again steal a couple bases in theory on one trip. Ohtani, the problem was he couldn't get a hit with guys with nobody on base. But he got all the hits with guys on base. So when he actually reached, there was somebody in front of him and he couldn't actually steal a base. That's something he ran into. So I don't mind Edman to lead the series in stolen bases. I would go with the Dodger anyway in that market because the Yankees pitchers have been better lately, not great at holding runners on. Ohtani's a cheap price, I get it. But 0 in the first 2 rounds, I can't take you at 165. I'll go with Edman at 4-1. If you want to go for Mookie Betts, though, who also has 2, you can get Betts at 12-1 to lead in stolen bases. But I'll go against Ohtani here. I think Ohtani is a great guy to steal bases, but he has none in the postseason. So that price is too cheap at 165.
How many home runs did Stanton have last series?
A lot. I gotta pull that up. I want to say
Scott's
4.
correct.
I want to say 4 on that, but I gotta confirm. I think it was 4.
For him to get 4 home runs is 8-1 in the series.
He had 4. He had 1 home run in 4 of the 5 games.
Also, the Freddie Freeman angle from earlier. How many hits do you think it would take to lead the series in hits?
12.
I was going to say if you're expecting a 6-game series, you're probably in the 12 to 14 range.
So Freddie Freeman to get 12 plus hits in the series is 35-1.
Oh, you see.
But all right, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly I stumbled into like the player will record stat, and then they kind of have you can ladder it. So starting at whatever a low number and getting to a high number. So
we got baseball ladders.
Certainly. Well, what is it they used to put in the coffee back in the day? The speed.
Oh yeah, the greenies. The greenies. Those
we'll
are the
greenie
the green pills. So Malcolm, you got the Yanks winning in 6. Scott, where are you at with the series? Are you taking the Yankees? Are you worried you're going to jinx them? Where are you at?
Well, I'm going to try not to jinx them, or hopefully I jinx my upcoming pick and the Yankees actually win. I'm going to go Dodgers actually in
Classic
6.
Son of a bitch.
I know I have 6 as well. You can play the Benedict music if you want to. It's fine. I understand. Point is though, I do think for the sake of the matchup here. Yeah, here we go. There you go. That's my thoughts on that. But I just think at the end of the day, the Dodgers have beaten better competition. Yes, I know it's a cliche angle. No disrespect to Cleveland and Kansas City. But I did think that the Padres were a really good team. They did perform well in those final 2 games. Then you looked at the series against the Mets. Yes, the Mets were kind of a fluky semifinalist team, but they were the hottest team in the league. And you saw the Dodgers go through them in 6. The offense has been great, though. The Yankees, the issue I still have with this team, which still drives me nuts, they just can't get hits with runners in scoring position. And it drives me absolutely crazy how many times they leave guys on base. They're also the worst base running team I've ever seen. The amount of mistakes they make running the bases drives me absolutely nuts. And I feel like even though Cleveland and Kansas City couldn't capitalize on those errors, I think the Dodgers can. I just think the Dodgers will do a better job of actually stealing bases, doing the small things in addition to all the home runs we're going to see in the series. There are just so many mental errors that the Yankees commit that are still there. And people haven't really talked about it because they won anyway. Who cares? But in a series that I think will be very close, and in a series with the slimmest of margins, you can't hand away free outs. The Yankees do that a lot, and it's really frustrating how fundamentally unsound they can be at times. It's enough to sway me. I'm going to go Dodgers in 6.
I am also going Dodgers in 6, and shout out to Scott, who has the ability to bet and pick against his own team.
Oh no, I win either way, because if the Dodgers win, I feel like a genius, and if the Yankees win, I'll be drunk anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, there you go. I want to see. I want to see Scott. Ryan, if Yankees win, maybe we give Scott. Mail him some ski goggles and champagne. Scott shooting a reaction video.
That works for me.
Champagne. That's an incredible visual, and we may have to make that happen.
I will go to the parade if they win. By the way, I will be.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yes.
Hey, make sure you sign up for the World Series for NBA tip-off. UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN. Get your 50% deposit match up to $1,000. Boostober is happening. I know because I just entered an insane amount of pick'em entries for NBA because every pick'em entry is boosted 20% for the NBA limited time. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Kramer, we haven't gotten your and maybe we'll put together a underdog lineup entry here for game one. We haven't gotten your predictions for the World Series.
Yankees -1.5.
Whoa.
In the series.
Whoa.
Yep. Yankees winning 5.
Wow.
Yep.
And who's your MVP?
No games go to extra innings. You can get that at +105. And who's my MVP?
Yes.
I'll go with Stanton. He stays hot, hits a bunch of home runs. +950 on FanDuel.
Oh wow. Okay.
I did some shopping this morning.
Doing some shopping.
I did some shopping this morning.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the Dodgers. I do. I will reveal my MVP pick. It's going to be Ipe.
No one brought it up.
Him.
It's a revenge spot. The last time the Dodgers and Yankees played, by the way, the most common matchup in World Series history.
Really?
It was 1981. Yankees won the first 2 games, and the Dodgers won the last 4.
So, do any of the players know that?
Revenge? See.
By the way,
I'm
Sean,
sure
it was the most common because they were the Brooklyn Dodgers. That includes those.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Well, of course, the Dodgers franchise, just like the Lakers claim some of the activities from Minneapolis.
Malcolm, we're going to start with you. Put you on the hot stove here. Underdog fantasy. We got. What are we putting in a game one entry? What do you like here? Pitching, hitting. I can pull up the numbers if you don't have them.
They have 25. We got you, Malcolm. They have 25 different projections for Ohtani.
Yeah, I mean, just tell
throw something.
Tell
out.
us a player you like or don't like for game one, and I'm sure we got something for you.
Do they have Yamamoto listed as the starting pitcher at all?
I haven't seen any starting pitchers.
Yeah,
listed
I
anymore.
guess. Sorry, not including the starting pitchers.
Anyone except him. By the way, the word I was looking for earlier on was versatile. So I'm pleased I've got that.
Nice.
Okay.
There you go.
At least I'll get some sleep tonight because that was making my teeth itch. Not being
well, you got to get your Japanese rest.
Yeah, you've got it spot on. Right, so we will go for Juan Soto, higher 1.5 RBI.
Oh, okay. 1.5. So let's see.
No,
1.5.
Half an RBI.
Okay.
1.5 would be very extravagant.
Well, we are getting a 1.5x over an Underdog.
Like
Juan Soto.
I like this.
To have an RBI makes sense. Does stay hot, but doesn't not necessarily ideal for the the under and the 8.5, which Scott gave out. But I'm calling it 5-2 game one. Scott, what do you got for Underdog World Series game one? Or who do you like? Who are you looking to fade?
All right. So for game one, I'm trying to think if I want to go for a fade. I thought about fading a Mal's player, Jazz, just spite him a bit, but I don't know if I'm actually going to do that. They have first 5 lowers on totals there, right? They have that on Underdog or no?
For some of the players, I think
they're not for the players. I mean, just in general. Do they have like game options for like lower first 5? They don't. Okay.
No.
So
only fantasy projections.
I'm not sure if they have it. I want Stan to lower 1.5 strikeouts. I'm not sure if they're going to have that though, because he's been great at actually not striking out recently. But I'll pivot. I'll go with something else. I think I'm going to go with Austin Wells. I'll go with the lower half a hit here or half a base, whichever you want to do. He's been a mess for the entire playoffs hitting. I know he had a home run in the middle of that series. They moved him down the lineup, but he's been good in the field, solid arm, calling a good game, but he just has not been able to catch up to the high fastball. It's killed him the entire postseason, and it's killed my mental state for the entire postseason. But I'm going to go with the lower on Wells for the hits here. Hope I'm wrong. Hope he contributes, but it just seems like he's in a slump. And the playoffs are not a great time to bounce back from those. I just think he's really struggling to find himself at the plate. So I'll go with Wells lower on the half a hit.
Adam Rosenberg, friend of the program, saying you just hate mustaches. Is that true, Scott?
I used to have one, but it was gone earlier in the week. So yeah.
Oh, whoa. I mean,
there we go.
It's
Kramer, you got to bring the stash back. I mean, the stash with the Dago Dimes T-shirt underneath the Yankees jersey is just an incredible look.
You got to buy your own chain though, because Sean's not giving you his, so you got to buy.
No, you're not getting my Hertz.
If
chain.
I just, it would be funny to see the wife's reaction if I don't say anything to her and then just show up and be like, "Hey, sup?"
All right, Ryan, we need a Dodger to balance this entry out. We got
those losers.
Juan Soto higher a half RBI, Austin Wells lower a half total base. Both are nice multipliers, so we don't need to go crazy here. We can keep it simple with something with Ohtani. What do you like, Ryan?
I mean, what don't we just take the higher on Ohtani getting walked?
I mean, Ohtani getting walked. Yeah.
Is that a donkey play? It's offered at basically. Yeah.
I mean, Ohtani to get a walk higher, Scott. This is a lock, right?
I mean, I like it. I wouldn't call it a lock per se, but we know Cole's been a bit wild so far in the postseason. He has walked some guys. The issue with Ohtani's got a lot of speed, but you're looking at Ohtani and he has walked at least one time in 6 straight games. So I can't really say no to it. I mean, he walked in every game of the Mets series, all 6 games. He walked at least one time.
All right,
you might pitch around him. There's a couple ways to get there. If there's a guy on second and there's a base open, I don't know if Underdog counts intentional walks or not. You might want to look into that for the fine print. But there is a chance they intentionally walk him at some point with the guy on base. So keep that in mind. That could be a way to get there automatically. But they're going to be careful with Ohtani as they should. So, yeah, I don't mind that play. 6 straight games with a walk. That's pretty solid.
Let's go. So Juan Soto to get an RBI. Austin Wells to have less than a half total bases. And Ohtani to get a walk. That is, let's see, $100 would bring back 1,089. Feels like a nice play over there on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code SGPN. Malcolm, any other? Obviously, everyone, make sure you subscribe to the MLB Gambling Podcast. It's going to be breaking down the entire World Series, get you super in depth. Also, there will be a World Series contest available for MLB Gambling Podcast listeners, so you'll have to tune in there, get all the info.
Intentional walks count as walks.
Oh, okay. Well, good to know. That would be an annoying.
There is a question in the FAQ. Does an intentional walk count as a hit? The bar is very low over in the Underdog FAQ.
No. Any other Malcolm? Any other World Series predictions, thoughts you want to toss out here before we wrap things up?
Yeah, just to tidy you up, following on what you were saying, the podcast will be going. We've been going on the day of the games during the playoffs, which has been different, but it's worked. The listeners have enjoyed it. So myself and Dylan are doing a props episode tomorrow, and then I think it might be Scott and Lonte who are doing a series preview. So they'll be tomorrow.
I think it's us and Munaf. I think we're doing a 3-person episode. For
Ooh.
Oh, okay, nice. So they're going all the way through. But yeah, I've got one more pick, and it's a really nice jumping around pick, because when this thing happens in the game anyway, it's very exciting. But when you backed it at plus 250, it's even more exciting. And that's a grand slam to be hit in the series. It's plus 250. It's just a fun. I mean, everyone's leaping around, It's shirt over your head time. So yeah, that's one of my big plays. Plus 250 for a grand slam in the series at any time.
How could you not? It's like it's like betting the hole in one.
Honestly,
on a major.
A lot of these series ideas, we'll call them. So like I like the no on the extra innings.
Okay,
but any game in the series to end with a walk off, the no is minus 125. It's like, what? Doesn't that seem obvious? The grand slam, like Malcolm said, that's fun. And then you can also do triple.
That's what I was going to mention that. So,
what do you got? What do you got, Scott?
Yeah, full D-Gen play. Give me the no on the triple at plus 125.
I was gonna say it's plus odds.
I think it's a great deal. You know how many how many triples these two teams have combined for so far in the postseason?
Probably 0.
The answer's 0. So
let's go.
Yankee Stadium historically not a great place for triples when you factor in the actual outfield dimensions, etc. And the Dodgers, yes, they got some speed. But I think at the end of the day, how many guys can you see realistically hitting, besides some, unforeseen circumstances where an outfielder falls down or something weird happens? How many guys can actually hit a triple in the series? Because you're looking at Volpe, Jazz can probably do it, Ohtani can, maybe Betts. You don't have many guys, so you're already eliminating more than half the lineup for both teams just to start with.
Well, and then
plus 125 on no triples when neither team's had one the entire postseason. I think it's a great price. Give me the plus 125.
And even Scott mentioning like a outfielder falling down or something like that. Like a lot of those times, you could get it graded as like a double with an error or something like that in there. Like, you have plenty of outs for no triple. I like this. I'm going to co-sign this, Ryan, aka steal it. This is going to be an official network play. No triple in the World Series, mostly because it's just a hilarious thing to bet.
To me,
and it's a good, like Scott brings up a good handicap of it.
And again, shop around because they are offering some drastically different prices on this stuff.
Shop around, but don't shop around for baseball betting content. Smash that subscribe button. The MLB Gambling Podcast, also the premier league gambling podcast, where you can hear Malcolm and Barry talking footy on the pitch. Scott heating up with the NBA Gambling Podcast, tennis gambling podcast. Follow them both on X at Reichel Radio, and Malcolm at Mal_B_sports.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
Go Yankees.
Kramer, let it ride.